Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow, Extreme Health Club, and Lockshield Partners Accounting Services.
Welcome to Tell Me About It. I'm James Brown, 104thescore.com, and we are here on Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel. You can also find this show on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel. It airs every Thursday night. We record a little early, so sometimes we talk ahead. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some track because we have a good meet coming up on Saturday at Berrien County High School. It's going to be a unified track meet. Berrien County's hosting a regular track meet, and what the unified track meet means is it's an opportunity for some of the Special Olympics athletes in the area to come out and compete in events. I think there's about 4 or 5 events that they're going to do. I'm going to go over there and take some photos, try to get some of both the high school athletes that are competing this year and some of the Special Olympics athletes as they are, I guess, preparing for their competition going forward that they have every year for Special Olympics. And it's a really good thing. So we'll go out there and check that out, and we'll see how everyone does. At the meet, of course, Berrien County's hosting, and they as a team have not had a team meet yet this year. Some of their distance runners like Chesney McPherson, Gracie Reed, Brody Miller have gone and competed in certain meets that specialize in the longer distances and that kind of thing. So as far as I know, from what I've seen, this will be their first full team meet where they'll have their sprinters out there, hurdlers, pole vaulters, which they always have pole vaulters, and that kind of thing. And then of course, Glasgow will be there as well, and they have competed in 4 meets so far this season. Caroline Murphy is on a hot roll at the moment. I think she's won every event that she has competed in all 4 meets so far. Those events being the high jump, which she's defending 2A state champion in, and the record holder for Glasgow High School girls high jump, and 100-meter hurdles, 300-meter hurdles, and she's also won the 4x100 relay 4 times, I think it is, along with Cynthia Austin, Kiana Brown, and Taylor Wilson, I think is the 4th runner there. So she's off to a hot start, looking to defend her state title in the high jump. She's also, before she was the school record holder in the high jump, she was more known for the hurdles, but last year she broke out in the high jump. So she's in a hot roll to start the season. Cynthia Austin's off to a good start, not only in the relay, but in the 100-meter dash. She's won that a couple of times in a couple of meets. For the boys, Javon Clark's had a good run to start the season. He's won the triple jump in a couple of meets, won the high jump in a couple of meets, been in a couple of other outstanding performances so far to start the season. Rico Crowder was on a 4x100 relay winning team, I think it was, this past week with Jalik Mitchell, Cameron Bull, and Braden Kirkpatrick. Rico's also, he won the 100-meter dash, I think it was a couple of weeks ago at South Warren. He's been in the top 3, I think, every time in that event. So he's having a good start. Lucas Christian won the 300 hurdles the other day, so for Glasgow. So we've got some good results that we've seen from the track and field for Glasgow team. I think their highest place in a meet has been 3rd. The girls finished 3rd in a meet. I think the boys have been 6th a couple of times and 5th once. I don't remember what the other actual result was. The meet they ran in at Thomas Nelson on Tuesday was a good barometer for their sprinters and their jumpers and that kind of thing, because they were competing against North Hardin, which is a 3A power in track and field. Especially in the sprint events, the jump events and that kind of thing. So that was a good test for them. Overall, we've got some outstanding athletes to look forward to as we get in more meets as the season moves along. Like I said, this will be a big meet at Barron on Saturday where we get to see top competitors. And as we go along, we'll get to see more of Chesney McPherson and Gracie Reed in the distance races for Barron County and Brody Miller as well. I'm not sure for the rest of Barron's team how that kind of works out. I just haven't had a chance to look at them yet, so looking forward to that. Anyway, this has been your track segment on Tell Me About It on Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel. We'll be right back.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It, Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel. Also, 104thescore.com. And Trevent Hayes isn't with us at the moment. I'm talking to Glasgow softball coach KALEB CROWE, but you can find Trevent Hayes and all of his work on kysports.tv. I got it right this time, I do believe. And Trevent's not here to correct me if I didn't. Coach CROWE, thanks for coming in and talking to us. We tried to get you in a couple of weeks ago, but you were unable to join us. And then I guess so this was an interesting thing during spring break, to be honest with you. You guys didn't play during spring break. Barron didn't play during spring break. I think Glasgow's baseball team was the only team of the two schools that actually went to Florida.
Yep.
And most years it seems like everybody heads to Florida for spring break.
Right.
So why did you guys decide that, it's not, we're going to do that this year?
It's just one of those things that it just didn't develop like it has in the past. I think we're going to try to go someplace next year for it, but it's just one of those deals where the stars didn't line up, so to speak. So just didn't work out. It's the way it goes sometimes. I think the girls were fine with it, though. I think everybody could have used the physical break, the mental break from everything. So, good time for that.
Well, and I guess last year, whenever they moved the season back a week and kind of monkeyed with everything, they being the KHSAA, they decided on that in January.
Correct.
Then moved the season back, a month and a half before the season actually started. And so it seems like maybe some things are still kind of settling out from that in terms of starting the season now 2 weeks before spring break even is, and traditionally the season starts basically right at spring break. And maybe that's kind of still trying to be worked out in how you want to do your schedules and interact with your team and that kind of thing.
That is true. Last year was a mess because we got that information, I think, like February or whatever it was.
Right.
And I already had 6 games or 5 games scheduled for that week, so that had to be moved around and everything. So that's probably a good point. I hadn't really thought about that, but the reality is it just seems like it keeps getting starting earlier and earlier and colder and colder. And
Yes.
And here we are.
Well, and you got the first weekend, you got a couple of games in, then the end of the week basically got rained out. The next second week was the same way. So you really didn't get a whole bunch. I think you got 5 games in, really, in those first couple of weeks.
I think in total, on the break, we went into it at 3 and 4, so 7 total games in 2.5, 3 weeks or whatever it was. So, it was kind of sparse.
So what was the mindset when you guys came back on Monday? Because you were going over to Russell County to play, and I mean, guess you practiced some during spring break.
We offered some things for people to come in and work, but basically it was just try to get the ship going, the wheels turn the right direction again. Our big message was we're still a relatively young team. We wanted everyone to be mentally clear, thinking positive thoughts, moving the right direction. We just preached positivity going into Monday against Russell County, and of course we had a positive outcome. We won that game 12-6. It took about 2 or 3 innings to get everything. Once the wheels started going, though, we took off. So it's just that positive message of positivity.
Before I ask you any more about Monday and some of the things that actually came out of it that affected you on Tuesday, I kind of want to back up to you mentioning you have a young team, because I think what people don't realize about your team is if they had played the 2020 spring season, that team had a bunch of veteran players on it, and then it had a gap to some younger players. And those veteran players that season probably would have helped your program develop, I would guess, because you'd had those veterans helping lead those younger players, but that all got washed away. So it was almost like when you came back in 2021 to play, you might as well have been a brand new program, like had never played before on some level.
That's the reality. I don't like to sound like I'm complaining or anything, but the reality is we talk with the coaches amongst ourselves all the time is that 2020 season was going to be so big for us because we had 4 veterans on that team that were going to be able to shield the younger girls, that were going to be able to help them develop, take the pressure off of them. Those events, those at-bats, those practice moments are gone. Now I have an 8th grader hitting, or I have a 7th grader hitting in the 4-hole, and an 8th grader hitting in the 3-hole, and freshmen leading off 1 and 2 that don't have a whole lot of at-bats. So it makes it difficult. Last night at the game, I was talking to Joe Myers on the radio, and he pointed out to me, I had never thought about this. Last night, at one point in our game, our catcher up the middle, our catcher was a 8th grader, our pitcher was a 7th grader, and our shortstop, our second baseman were both 8th graders as well, flagged by sophomores at every other position. So still, somehow we manage to get younger every single year. I'm not for sure how we do that, but we do, and it is. I'm sure people understand it somewhat, but like I think about this sometimes. Technically, my entire varsity team could still play JV if they wanted to, and completely within the parameters of doing so.
Right.
But it's just wild how young we are sometimes.
Well, and to that end, also, I guess kind of what happens is John Butler always says, if you're going to lose young. Well, you kind of didn't have a choice.
Right.
you guys were going to take those lumps, and they were going to be young. And I wonder sometimes about your players, even though now most of them have 2 years of varsity experience, how much they're having to kind of having to overcome, I guess, psychologically in terms of playing the game, not just physically growing and getting stronger, but just getting a mindset where, we can win games.
And I think we're actually starting to make that transition. The confidence is starting to show. The girls that have had all kinds of experience and opportunities are really starting to power through some of these events. We are getting close to where we want to be. You lose 22 games as a 7th grader. You may not think much about it. We went 13-14 last year. Sizable improvement for us. We haven't had the start that we wanted to this year, but we're progressing. We see signs of the team that we can be. I'm not too worried about them mentally, though. I think once they get that taste and they realize this is how it's supposed to be, I think we'll take off with it whenever that opportunity comes.
All right, so let's talk about what came out of the Monday night game. You won the game 12-6 at Russell County.
That's correct.
But you basically you had to sit your pitcher, I guess, because she's kind of you've had to ride her a lot because you really didn't have a second pitcher the last couple of years. You've got a couple that are coming along now. Then your catcher got hit by a pitch, and so then she was unable to play on Tuesday night against Warren East, and probably won't be able to play Thursday against Barron, or maybe even next Tuesday against Allen when you play them again. So district stretch here, and you lose, what is she, your number 2 hitter basically in terms of percentage?
A career 400 hitter, number two in the lineup. And they probably playing the most important defensive position. I won't have her probably for the next 2 to 3 games, most likely. So that one stings a little bit. She's actually she was 3 for 3 at the plate, hit a huge double for us, and then she took about a 60-mile-per-hour fastball off the elbow, and it folded her. I was really concerned. We're lucky in that it's probably it's a really deep, bad bruise. She went and got x-rayed, but I was concerned that it was a fracture because she couldn't straighten the arm out, couldn't bend it. She was at the point of nausea. She was about to vomit. I mean, it was a pretty gnarly little scene. So
it was not a funny bone hit, huh?
Yeah, it was not funny at all. It might have been a funny bone, but it was not funny at all.
Right. This is Lucy Richardson we're talking about, and then Addison McCoy's your starting pitcher. So coming back to that game Tuesday night against Warren East, so then you had Memphis Prophet, who did she miss all of last season with a knee injury?
So she actually tore the ACL her 7th grade year.
Okay.
And then she wasn't quite healthy last year, so she kind of took the year mentally. She didn't feel comfortable trying to do anything with it, which I understood completely. So she lost a year and a half of development. So I was actually really pleased with how Memphis threw the ball last night. It's her first career start. Not an easy start to have at all.
No.
We're trying to ease her into the situations, but sometimes you don't have the opportunity to ease somebody, and sometimes you just get thrown into a situation. I thought she handled herself pretty well. Aubrey Kinslow pitched for us as well. She's improved a bunch from her 6th grade year to her 7th grade year. But once again, it just comes to, you throw a 7th grader against a program like Warren East, it's just going to be tough on the girls sometimes.
Right, and so then you had Gracie Walker that had to step in and play catcher. I think that's who that was.
Yeah, her first career start as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't stay for the whole game. I think I stayed for the first 3 innings. You could see the youth at points, but I thought she played pretty well at points too. So.
I was proud of Gracie as well. That's not an easy task to do either. So
right,
it's tough. It's tough sometimes, but it's how do you respond to those tough situations. I was pleased how they responded.
And then let's kind of round out the other people who you are counting on a lot. We mentioned your first baseman. Well, we talked about this. Your first baseman was also missing. She was not there, Micah Mullenkamp. So then Addison McCoy was playing first for you because she wasn't pitching. And at second base, you have Kayla Kirkpatrick. She's an 8th grader. And then Jakali Green's shortstop, also an 8th grader, I believe.
Yep.
Your veteran player,
Emery
Gardner.
Yep. At third base. My
sophomore. Yeah, okay.
3-year starter. At sophomore, yep.
So then, and then I guess one of your seniors is Tiara Saltzman playing left field, and then center field, I think you have Ellery Haynes.
That's correct.
Also, along with Addison McCoy and Emery Gardner, she's one of your veteran players, and she's in what grade?
Junior.
Yeah, okay. And then in the right field, you have Sydney Kuykendall, who I think this is her 3rd year in right field, and she's a sophomore. Yeah.
And then we have Kenzie Johnson as well, who our outfielders kind of rotate around with DP and playing the outfield. We try to do some matchups from time to time, but she's a junior as well. So I've basically got 3 sophomores that have played for 3 years and 3 juniors that have played for 3 years, and then we go from there. So.
Well, we've mentioned your district. You got really lucky this year. Any how you want to look at it. I guess if lucky in the sense that if competition raises the water for you, raises the boat, then you guys you can't play much better competition than you do in this district.
It's very true.
With Warren East, Allen County, Scottsville, and Barron County. You've played all 3 of them now. How do you assess the 3 of them?
Well, we have, and I've talked to the girls about this, talked to the coach staff about this. We have the utmost respect for all the district opponents. Barron County is a pristine program that does a lot of things right. Allen County also does a lot of things right. I mean, they've won a state championship, so they obviously have to be doing something right. Warren East has won, I think, maybe 2 state championships. I can't quite recall. I know they're a great program as well. When we look at how we played against them, in years past, we were beat before we got off the bus. This year, we are starting to understand that they're no different than us. We have to come out and play. Obviously, they're good teams. If we just can't come out and lay an egg and expect to compete with them. We played a complete game against Barron County. Was proud to see that, especially young. I mean, we were talking before we started this, just how good that Barron County team is. I think they're by RPI, they're like the number 13 team in the state. Coaches have them ranked between 20 and 25. That's no easy task. There's a lot of schools in the state. When you have to play them all the time, you get to test your grit a little bit. But I'm proud with how we've played minus a few points. In Allen County, we played Allen County, we lost 16-6, but We gave up 10 runs in the first 2 innings. I only believe 2 or 3 of them were earned. So I mean, we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. But overall, like, we're showing growth, and I'm proud of that, both mentally and physically. At some point in time, it will click, and we're going to get to play a game with them. It's going to be close, competitive. We may come out and win. If not, it's still going to be competitive. And I think that's when the switch will flip for our girls, and they'll understand, hey, we can compete with anybody, and we'll be good to go.
I think going back to the Allen game, you mentioned the 10 runs in the first 2 innings. In the Barron game, I think you guys gave up 5 in the first in that one. But it seems like if you guys could just maybe quell those early couple of innings and just kind of get a little deeper in the game, maybe you reach that point where the confidence kicks in and you're like, okay, we can compete here.
Right.
It's just the struggle is just like those first couple of innings in those games.
Right. That's something with the young team that you come across. Sometimes you don't know how to prepare exactly for the game or get the right mindset, or if something goes wrong early, the body language starts to get negative. We're battling through those little learning curves that we have right now, but I would agree completely. If we could just get off to a good start, eliminate those 1 or 2 bad innings. We don't play a bad game 1 through 7. We play a bad game inning 2 and 5, or inning 3. It's just 1 inning, and it's enough to do enough damage to where we can't recover. If we can play a complete game, like I said, I genuinely believe that we can compete with just about anybody.
We're going to get out of here. Anything else you want people to know about your team?
We appreciate you all doing this one.
Yes, sir.
We have a lot of fans that keep coming out, keep supporting our girls. We appreciate that as well. Just keep up with them and keep rooting for them if you can, and it will pay off. All the hard work will eventually pay off for them, and I think we're eventually going to go out and we're going to prove people that all the work they've done has been worth it, and we'll be a really good team.
All right, sounds good. It's been Coach KALEB CROWE, Glasgow Lady-Scottie softball coach, here on Tell Me About It. I'm James Brown, 104thescore.com. And we'll be right back.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It on Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel. You can also catch this show. It airs at 6 p.m. every Thursday, but you can catch it online at the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel, also on 104thescore.com and kysports.tv. Trevent Hayes, his day job called, and so he couldn't make it with us today. And I'm sure he'll be back next week with some hot takes for you or some debates. He likes to think of this show as a debate show. I guess it is, but right now we're not debating. Right now we're going to talk a little bit about some softball and baseball, coming off of our interview with KALEB CROWE there, Glasgow Lady-Scottie softball coach. He was talking about his district and the addition of Warren East and how much stronger that has made the district. Warren East, a perennial state power in softball. Allen County, Scottsville, been down in recent years, but historically one of the better softball programs in the state. And of course, Barron County's been really good with Coach Daryl Murphy there at the helm for the last few years. Coach Murphy was on last week and we were discussing the fact that he lost 5 seniors, and not just 5 seniors, but 5 4-year starters for all intents and purposes. A couple of them I guess technically none of them got to be 4-year starters because they missed the 2020 season, but they all got to be 3-year starters for the most part. And that being, of course, the catcher and the pitcher and the center of your defense, which in softball usually means if you've got a good pitcher, that's you're going to determine wins and losses a lot like that. So when you lose a veteran pitcher, you expect to take a step back. Well, 8th grader Chloe Witcher has stepped in, and she has been lighting it up. I think she had a 15 strikeout. She's had, let me see, they are 12-0. I believe she has had 8 games with 10 or more strikeouts. I don't know if that number is 100% correct, but it's a lot more than you would expect it to be. And they are undefeated in the district, as we just talked about, is a strong district. So they beat Allen County on Tuesday night 7-0. Chloe Witcher, I think, had 8 strikeouts in that game. They beat Warren East a couple of weeks ago, 7-6. They were up 6-0 in that game, then held off Warren East to win that one. They are presently, I think, ranked number 18 in the statewide coaches poll, which is published each week. And then I don't remember what the RPI rating was, but it was up there as well. The fact that they are 12-0, I'm not going to lie, is a little bit surprising to me. I expected them to still be a team that could really hit the ball this season, but the part that has caught me by surprise is just how effective Chloe Witcher has been as a pitcher. And also folks like Riley Reed stepping in at the plate. I mean, she's had some outstanding games. Going back to the Warren East game, she had a home run in that game. I think it was a 3-run home run in that game. And then she had a double that drove in the insurance run that made sure that they held on to the 1-run lead. So she stepped up. Of course, Katie Murphy's a WKU commit. WKU has an outstanding softball program, and you expect her to be really good. She batted 1,000 to start the season, so that's not shocking. Her defense is outstanding. She might be the best defender in the 4th region, I would guess. So, so those things were expected. But then you have somebody like Briley Adala who steps in at catcher. She's played well, also hit the ball really well. You've got Mary Schalk. She's hit the ball really well. So, you've got a lot of players that have stepped in, and Lizzie Smith, not a starter last year, has had some really good games at the plate. So the players you expect to see have played well, and I think the most impressive thing is the ones that we didn't know about have stepped in and kept the tradition going for Barron County. And John Butler and I have discussed this. You want to be the 1 seed in that district tournament. You do not want to be the 2-3 seed playing, because anything can happen in that game. And I'm not discounting the quality that, what Glasgow could do. It's just right now, those other 3 teams are obviously the better teams in the district. So that 1-4 matchup is a favorable matchup. But as we talked about before, in district tournaments, anything can happen. And now, meanwhile, on the baseball side, Barron had a good run over spring break, won 4 games at Taylor County. They beat Bowling Green on Monday night 4-3. Joey Myers went the distance. That was an impressive win for them. The Glasgow Scotties have struggled a little bit. Still a young team, a bunch of brand new pitchers. I think they have 7 new hitters in the batting order, at least 6. And so I thought their pitching would be sound, and it's been pretty good. The question was, was their hitting going to come alive? And I think it has. Back to Barron real quick. They have a young team, but a lot of these guys played last year, and guys like J.P. Hyde are having outstanding seasons at the plate. So looking forward to see how the rest of this season goes. We will keep you updated here on Tell Me About It on Glasgow EPB, Channel 6, the local channel.